we're on the way to meet the lawyer. The lawyer, I said I wasn't going to get because I wasn't hiring no lawyer. This one volunteered. And he seemed to be an all right fella. And again, he seemed to be scary as hell because lawyers seem to have to inform you of what happens if things don't go right. And so every time I talk to him, he informs me of what might not go right and asks me how much time am I willing to build and all this year. I'm like, I'm gonna fire that damn man. You know, but today's court, and we're on our way, and I don't think much will happen today, but they could surprise me, you know. But if they surprise me today, I figure it'd be in a good way, you know, because I don't know why they can surprise me in a bad way. But we're going to go and we're going to fight with all we got, and we're fighting for each and every person that needs marijuana, you know. So when I stand up for all of us, and I ask y'all to stand up because all of us need to stand up. And when we finally do this, and we're doing it more and more every day, our war will be over. We will have won because we all stood up and said we was tired of it. So us hope for the best in court. Hope that Cabot's got a good biscuit this morning.
All right. May the force be with you. It's a pretty morning night.
Feelings are building up, so it's the same way our court. Your drilling builds up, and you all keep up trying to get there, and you're ready for the battle.
Yeah, it does make you tense. That's what I've been telling people. You know, it's all civilized and everything, but I do think it's wrong to put people through this kind of thing unless it's really necessary, like unless it's a crime of the victim, you know.
Well, I do too. What's the shame is when they put people in prison now, you know, it costs the hell out of their families because everything costs in prison. If they call you on the phone, it costs. So really, I'm not sure who they're punishing. You know, I mean, if they call you from the local jail, if you're locked up, they charge because they're making money, not off the prisoner, but off of the families of the prisoners. And I think that sucks. And they know that the prisoners ain't got nothing. And every one of the collect calls that would be local up until just recently, they're charging, you know, $1.70, I think it might be, to go home. So when it becomes that money's more important than the common courtesy and rights, and you gotta make money off of every little nick and corner, you know, that's wrong. Especially when you're making it off of the people who haven't done nothing wrong.
Yeah, it doesn't seem about justice anymore. It's more like just they want you to just be part of the system and get you on the probation for years and hope you'll slip up and get back in the system again. And they make their money and everything.
Oh yeah, and keep you from voting and a lot of things. You know, I mean, really, sometimes I think that the war's just as much about keeping people in their place and kind of, you know, ruling government as anything else. Because if everybody turned out to vote, if all the common people turned out, things would be a lot different in this world. You know, I mean, really, it seems for the common people like me to sit at home and to let a few people run things the way they want to. It's strange how everything goes to where the money is. Law enforcement goes where the money is. The money makes the wheels turn. You know, I mean, you can't turn back time. So all we gotta do, there's always gonna be law, but it's gotta be fair and equal, and it's gotta have common sense in it. And a lot about our laws has no common sense at all. When they let murderers out of prison to make room for drug offenders because of mandatory sentencing, that's wrong. And they do this year. And I've heard, you know, governors complaining about it, and judges and everybody else. And we put a non-violent criminal in prison for life at times. And we don't do killers that way. You're better off in the United States, apparently, to kill somebody than you ought to get caught with drugs. You know, I wouldn't think that any amount of marijuana would get somebody locked up for life. But I know people that's had truckloads that's been locked up for life, and I know people that's been caught with less than a quarter pound, and they're still in prison and been there since the 60s. So when you talk about inhumane treatment, you know, our government can do it. Because to keep somebody in prison since the 60s and to this day over any amount of marijuana is wrong. And how anybody can live with that, I don't know.
Yeah, I think people need to wake up and realize what the prohibition is doing to our society, and you know how law enforcement works in our communities. You know, we got, I guess, murderers and rapists and people like that don't really make money for law enforcement. They just go off to jail. But the prohibition makes some money. They get all these fines, and they get to confiscate cars and money, and you know, it's a lot of power, and it's easy for them. And
oh yeah, and sometimes it's bribes and everything else, because drug dealers and people with money can pay the law off.
Yeah, so it's definitely a system that they want to keep going, you know. And the longer it keeps going, the more it perverts our system, you know. So I hope people are starting to realize what a mess it is, and you know, get up and do something about it.
I do. You know, I've been talking to the preachers and people in church and stuff, and telling them they had to stand up and take a position on this year, you know, in an educated one. I mean, we can take and say marijuana is bad from now on because we heard that 40 years ago, but then that's not right neither. So if people will get educated, and anybody that I've took materials to where they can go to the websites and, you know, back up anything I say about marijuana. So things have changed, you know, but still, government for some reason fights it tooth and nail, or ever who's more powerful than government, maybe the pharmaceutical companies fights it, you know. I mean, you'd think that something so simple would come down to basic common sense, and if doctors was behind it for medicine, then it should be over with. And doctors just came out, and it should be over with soon. Now we'll just wait and see if it is, but it should be really making a change.
Well, I was telling people at the Cannabis Therapeutics Conference that it seems like this weed is at the tip of the arrow of natural medicines versus the corporate pharmaceutical medicines, you know. So we should support our medical marijuana activists, because they're out there fighting for the right to use something natural that God made. And if we lose this one, we might lose all of our access to any kind of natural herbs, things that don't come out of factories.
Here
it is. You're an intrepid lawyer. He's working hard.
Our shop is closed.
I know.